Joining me on Switch Radio, I have got a film director with me who is premiering his film this very evening at the Manchester Film Festival, which I know if you're not in Manchester, people will be like, well, hold on, well, I'm not there. How can I watch it? It's getting its worldwide premiere tonight as well as part of the Manchester Film Festival. His film is called Country of Hotels, and joining me is Julio Maria Martino. Hi, Julio.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No, you're very welcome. And it's a very interesting film, isn't it? It's basically set in a hotel and it's set on one specific room, isn't it?
Yeah, the film is set in a hotel somewhere in America, and the focus of the film is on this one room where bad, unusual things keep on seeming to happen. It's got a very sort of surreal, absurdist vibe, the whole film. And yeah, as I was saying, the focus of the film is on this one room, 508. Various people come into it and they don't leave alive. They either go crazy, they disappear, or they meet a sticky end. But that's the sort of very basic idea of the film.
Yeah, it's it's one of those where you're thinking what's going to happen next, because
Good.
it's described as a black comedy, but it is scary in parts. I jumped out my skin a few times.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear. Yeah, I'm a big fan of mixing, humor and sort of threat and sort of unpleasantness. I'm not one for films that are deadly, deadly, deadly serious. They have to have some level of irony or humor to them. And certainly with this film, we tried to create something where you didn't really know where it was going to go, where you didn't know whether the next moment was going to be a funny one or a scary one. I'm really glad to hear that you jumped out of your seat. That's the best thing you can say, because it's not designed like a shock a minute type thing, but it's designed as sort of like something that's sort of creepy and is getting under your skin and hopefully going to freak a few people out. So that's great to hear.
I'm worried that you're happy that I was scared out of me, scared half the time watching it. Oh, excellent!
Well,
You're scared, stiff. Thanks,
it's all
Julio.
for
Cheers.
fun. No, it's you couldn't say anything better. That's good. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're okay now and you get a good night's sleep tonight. I mean, that's fantastic. I wouldn't want it to linger for too long, but maybe one uneasy night's sleep will do me. But yeah, thank you very much.
And it's a strong cast in it as well, haven't you? You've got like Siobhan Hewlett, who was in Sherlock, Matthew Leach, who's been in Band of Brothers, and fantastic cast, really.
Yeah. We got people from all over the world really. So we have some. It's set in America, but we've got some British actors there like Siobhan Hewlett and Matthew Leach, Adam Leese. We've also got a couple of guys over from the USA. You might recognize one of them, Michael Lawrence, who's been in various TV shows like Damages and stuff like that. But it's a sort of wide array of people. Some people from Europe that we brought over from Italy, in particular, where I've got some connections. And we just tried to sort of fill the film with a mixture of sort of strong leads and quirky, in some cases very, very quirky supporting characters to sort of build this unusual, surreal, absurdist, and as you pointed out, black comedy world. That's the basic idea. But yeah, so it's very happy with the cast, and some of them go into really far out places, where the film takes them on a journey into sort of like the outer reaches of insanity, some of them. So that's sort of it requires some acting chops on behalf of quite a few of them. So yeah.
It's not based on a particular hotel that you stayed in loosely, is it at all? I mean, obviously no one stayed in a hotel like that, but we stayed in a few, fair to say, dodgy hotels in terms of the decor and things like that. I mean, that's a big thing that stands out. The decor is very kind of basic, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, it's based on the idea of going into a hotel, and it's one of these hotels where you go in and you suddenly feel like you're in somebody else's world, and you're in a world that the hotel staff have lived in for we don't know how long. And in this case of this film, you get a sense they could have been there for millennia, hundreds of years at least. And they all speak this kind of indecipherable language that we can't understand. And when they speak in English, they speak this quite creative, broken English. But it's based on this idea that for someone like you or I, when we go into this kind of hotel, we feel like this stranger in a strange land, that we're entering a kind of alternate reality or a heightened reality where our senses are all sort of suddenly awake. And this can happen if you get off of the train at King's Cross and you go down one of those streets. You can walk into hotels where it's run by people that weren't brought up in London. It's not run by Londoners, it's run by people from all over the world. And it's kind of a sort of unusual environment to sort of live in for 4 or 5 days. It doesn't feel like you're living in London. It feels like you're living in a sort of in another world entirely, which can be, it's a really exciting and interesting place to sort of spend a few days in. But it's quite a unique experience. And the idea was to sort of kind of create this sort of this sort of other world where these people go into and they sort of get lost. They don't get out. They disappear around a corner. We don't see them again, or we see them a few weeks later or something like that. But yeah, that's the sort of basic idea.
Yeah, it's I know what you mean. It's a sort of place with creaky staircases, isn't it? You know, at like 2 a.m. when somebody's sneaking upstairs, but you can hear it and it wakes you up and the walls are really thin as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I grew up. My father didn't speak English at all while he was Italian, and I grew up in a sort of, watching him run businesses where he'd speak to everybody in just, this sort of broken English, the way he wanted to speak to people. He sort of spoke to people on his terms, not their terms, and it really inspired me when I was making the film to try and create a world where the owners of the hotel kind of make it their world and the guests come into their world and adapt to their world. It's really not a hotel in service of the guests in the end. It's a hotel in service of the people that run it. And I kind of like that idea, but it's definitely, an outdated, murky, strange hotel where, you or I might go into it, and as we're going to bed that night, you sort of think, maybe something bad happened to the last person who stayed here. That stain on the wall. What's that stain relating to? There's that. You might find something in the drawer that makes you think, this is someone's like hearing aid. What's this about? That kind of sort of weird thing. That can sort of set off a chain of thoughts in your mind about what might have happened. And there's only this weird imprint left from the last guest. But the room continues on. You're just a sort of transient figure going through it.
And the Manchester Film Festivals, it's a massive festival, and it's good that we can cover this and anyone in the world can now watch it. It's worked in your favor a little bit with this current situation, because literally people could just watch it online, whereas before all these odd times you'd have to come up to Manchester and watch it at various places, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of going out to see physical things, to going out to the cinema, to going to music, to theatre, to eating out. I think these things are all really important, and I hope they come back once the pandemic's over. I'm not remotely a fan of the pandemic and what's happened, but there are some good things in terms of this that have worked in my favour. That anybody from around the world can watch the film tonight at 6 p.m. That's a great thing, and it's really great how the festival world has responded to this in a really positive way. They've made a plus out of it, absolutely. So I'm really pleased with that aspect of it. I lived in Manchester for about 10 years when I was a student, and then going on from there. And I'd love to, be going to Manchester now. Nothing better to sit in a cinema with a bunch of people who pay to see your film would be fantastic. But this is a really good alternative, and it's a great plus that people all around the world can see it.
After this interview, will you be having a virtual red carpet, sticking on a tuxedo maybe, and having a little glass of wine or a glass of beer?
Yeah, I need to get a tuxedo and a fez and go and a glass of beer. Yeah, I think there is like some sort of, there's an online festival village where we can go to and sort of, talk to people online. As we're talking now, I think, there are little online tables we can sit at and chat with other filmmakers. And there will be, straight after the film, anyone that does buy a ticket can have a Q&A with myself and the writer David Hauptshine, who's in Chicago at the moment. And so we'll be doing a Q&A straight afterwards. So there will be a red carpet element to the affair. It's not just the film and then it's over, yeah.
And then again, that's the other thing, isn't it, with technology? Even though he's over in America and you're there, you can still both talk about the film at the same time. Like you say, It has had its pluses in a way, this pandemic, hasn't it?
No, absolutely. It's. I'm glad it's, fingers crossed, coming to an end. But I think it's taught us all about what's possible in terms of, communication across continents and stuff like that. And actually, being able to have David, who probably wouldn't be coming over to Manchester to see the film, in Manchester this way, he gets to participate in a way which just otherwise wouldn't be possible. And he's a sort of fascinating guy, really. We've worked together a long time, and he's the really, of the relationship, he's the really, really creepy odd one. And so it's good. It'll be good to have him there to sort of explain for himself, what it's all about. But yeah, no, that's a real plus as well, definitely.
He's not going to be looking through like a virtual spy hole, is he? Like in the film?
He's a bit like that. Yeah. He's got that kind of aspect to him. But yeah, the spy hole in the film is a really the peephole in the film through the door is a sort of recurring image that we're really, really happy with. So we might be able to set something like that up. Who knows?
Brilliant. Well, Country of Hotels is out an hour after this show finishes at 6 p.m. this evening. And as I say, even though it's part of the Manchester International Festival, anyone can watch it wherever you are in the world. Go to www.manif, so that's maniff.com/Country of Hotels, and you can watch it there. Julio, thank you very much for joining us. And hopefully everyone will enjoy the film and you'll come out the Manchester Film Festival and everything, and it'll go viral and go everywhere.
That'll be fantastic. Yeah, please do watch the film if you can. Country of Hotels. I guarantee you, it's a good lockdown night experience. They'll have you something to talk about all weekend. And yeah, great. Let's hope for the best, and let's hope it goes well, and that we get some form of distribution afterwards, and people can see it all around the world in many different forms. That'll be fantastic. So yeah, very much looking forward to it. Thank you for having me.
And getting into the part of the film, turn the lights off before you watch it.
turn the lights off, turn your phone off, and sit down with a glass of beer or a glass of wine and enjoy yourself. And I'm on Twitter, so you can get in touch with me at Julio M Martino, and tell me off for creeping you out if that's what happens. Yeah, I look forward to it.
Excellent. Thank you, Julio.